I'm not going to comment on leaks, but what I would say is this government are absolutely committed to growing our economy and making this a great place for businesses to invest and trade in.
The boundary of the airport would be 50 paces from my front door. I'd have to put on ear defenders when I opened the front door to anybody.
It will be a little inconvenient for me because I live very close by.
Rachel Reeves is experiencing extreme panic. As the pressure mounts and her leadership is scrutinised, the Chancellor's latest grand plan for economic growth has backfired spectacularly. Instead of steering the UK in the right direction, Reeves has managed to alienate her own party, enrage environmental activists, and spark outrage among the public. Make sure to like and subscribe.
She is seriously on the back foot.
They don't know what they're doing and they're all rich and just back themselves.
That's a good point.
They're just in it for the power to get the position. They don't.
Her bold vision. A third runway at Heathrow Airport, a project that is nothing more than a desperate distraction from the real issues crippling the UK. With an economy in turmoil, soaring living costs and a broken infrastructure system, Reeves has chosen to focus on an expansion plan that many see as outdated, unnecessary, and environmentally reckless.
Rachel Reeves today admitted that she was quite shocked by how crap planning policy is in our country. And I don't really know how she can be shocked. It just shows just how limited her circle of friends is because...
And they're rule breaking.
Criticism is pouring in from every direction. Labour MPs, party donors, and even London's Mayor Sadiq Khan have slammed the move, warning that it would be hugely damaging to the environment while offering only the illusion of economic growth. Reeves, however, remains defiant, insisting that she is willing to fight for the project. But is this a fight she can win? And more importantly, is it a fight worth having?
So why does she feel the need to say, actually, we want some extra people? No doubt all of them will be bringing all sorts of relatives.
Many, including political commentator Isabel Oakeshott, have been quick to point out the glaring flaws in Reeves's plan. Oakeshott didn't hold back, labelling the move a shit show and questioning the Chancellor's basic understanding of economic priorities. There are already 7 runways in London, she pointed out. If you're going to create extra airport capacity, do it in the regions.
Let's just step back for a minute and also note just how unusual it is for a Chancellor to give what was almost an hour-long speech and then take questions not only a few months after her supposed once-in-a-generation budget. This is desperate stuff. I can't actually think of it ever happening before.
With mounting opposition, a crumbling economic strategy and a complete lack of support from her own party, it's becoming painfully clear. Rachel Reeves doesn't know what she's doing. Today, we're delving into the reasons why Rachel Reeves's plan is doomed to fail and how it's further regressing the UK.
Unfortunately, all of what she's announced is undermined fundamentally by the things she's doing to kill growth, which is these sky-high taxes. You know, employers are leaving, investors are leaving, wealth creators are leaving. And these raft of new workers' rights, which is absolute poison to growth. You know, billions of pounds worth of extra rights for workers is only going to put companies off employing more people.
Rachel Reeves may have expected applause for her grand announcement, but instead, she's facing an unprecedented backlash. Labour MPs, climate activists, and even some of her own cabinet members are openly opposing the Heathrow expansion. London Mayor Sadiq Khan has been one of the most vocal critics, warning of the severe impact an additional runway would have on noise levels, air pollution, and the UK's ability to meet its climate change targets.
Today, London's mayor opposes the expansion, and he's not alone.
The boundary of the airport would be 50 paces from my front door. I'd have to put on ear defenders when I opened the front door to anybody.
The criticism isn't just coming from political figures. Labour's biggest donors are also speaking out. Millionaire donor Dale Vince slammed the decision as a mistake, arguing that it sacrifices environmental commitments for a short-term economic mirage. Zara Sultana, a Labour MP, referred to it as a total reversal at the cost of local communities and the environment. Even former Labour heavyweight John McDonnell warned that up to 10,000 people would need to be rehoused due to the destruction of 4,000 properties. The backlash doesn't end there. Labour's Energy Secretary Ed Miliband was noticeably absent from Reeves's speech, fueling speculation that even those closest to her are unwilling to stand by her decision. The UK is grappling with some of the most pressing economic challenges in recent history. The country as a whole, not just in London, is in dire need of infrastructure investment, while inflation remains high. Yet instead of tackling these urgent issues, Reeves is doubling down on a project that does nothing to help the struggling regions of the UK. Isabel Oakeshott put it perfectly. Oxford and Cambridge are two of the wealthiest towns and cities in the UK. This is not the area that actually needs a massive injection of extra government subsidies. Rather than pumping money into areas that desperately need development, Reeves's fixation on Heathrow is nothing more than an expensive, environmentally reckless vanity project. The UK doesn't need another London-centric infrastructure plan. It needs balanced, nationwide growth. The environmental impact of this expansion cannot be overstated. Transport and Environment, a leading non-profit, has called Reeves's plan dystopian, arguing that Heathrow should be reducing flights, not adding more. Rosie Downs from Friends of the Earth labelled the move reckless, warning that it undermines the UK's legally binding climate targets. Greenpeace UK's policy director, Doug Parr, went even further, stating, "A third runway at Heathrow is unlikely to boost the UK economy, but will certainly boost noise, air pollution, and climate emissions. This isn't just about politics, it's about the long-term future of the country." And Reeves's failure to acknowledge these concerns only further highlights her lack of strategic vision. Reeves's mishandling of this situation is just the latest in a series of missteps that have called her leadership into question. She has failed to secure the backing of key figures within her own party, and her attempt to frame this as a bold, necessary move has fallen flat. Rather than adhering to Labour's previous environmental pledges, she is striving to overcome climate concerns, local opposition, and even fundamental economic principles. It's clear that this isn't about what's best for Britain, it's about political optics. And unfortunately for Reeves, the optics aren't looking good. Growth for the sake of growth isn't real progress. If the UK truly wants to build a sustainable, prosperous economy, it needs targeted investment in the right areas. That means revitalising struggling regions, improving transportation links beyond London, and supporting industries that will create long-term, meaningful employment.
It will be a little inconvenient for me because I live very close by.
Reeves's obsession with Heathrow stands in direct contradiction to these priorities. As Isabel Oakeshott bluntly put it, if you're going to create extra airport capacity, do it in the regions. Why funnel even more resources into the already wealthy southeast when the north of England, Scotland and Wales are crying out for investment?
Campaigning against no third runway as a resident, as a local ward councillor.
But what does this mean for Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves moving forward? This fiasco has exposed significant cracks in their economic strategy. By focusing on Heathrow instead of nationwide development, they risk alienating core voters who expected Labour to prioritise levelling up across the UK. Labour's support in working-class constituencies has already been eroding, and this latest controversy could accelerate that decline.
Today, London's mayor opposes the expansion, and he's not alone.
The boundary of the airport would be 50 paces from my front door. I'd have to put on ear defenders when I opened the front door to anybody.
If Reeves and Starmer don't course-correct soon, they may face a full-scale rebellion from within their own party. Labour has prided itself on taking climate issues seriously, yet this policy directly contradicts the party's past pledges on environmental sustainability. With mounting pressure from environmental groups, opposition MPs, and even internal critics, Starmer's leadership could soon be in jeopardy. In the end, this isn't just about one runway. It's about trust, competence, and the ability to make decisions that genuinely benefit the country. Rachel Reeves's Heathrow expansion plan has been met with overwhelming opposition, and the fallout is only just beginning. If Labour continues down this path, they risk losing credibility, not just on the environment, but also on economic growth, regional development, and the future of Britain's infrastructure. Rachel Reeves wanted this speech to mark the beginning of a bold new era for the UK economy. Instead, it has exposed just how out of touch she is with both the country's needs and the expectations of her own party. Her fixation on Heathrow's third runway is a disastrous miscalculation, one that ignores economic realities, environmental commitments, and the concerns of her own colleagues. Rather than pushing Britain forward, Reeves is dragging it backward, prioritising short-term political gains over the long-term good of the nation. With opposition mounting and support crumbling, the writing is on the wall. Reeves's leadership is in crisis, and the British people are quickly realizing that she doesn't have a plan, just a series of costly distractions. And when the dust settles, history will remember this moment not as a turning point for growth, but as the moment Rachel Reeves lost the trust of the nation. So, what do you think? Is Rachel Reeves leading Britain towards real economic growth, or is this just another misguided policy that will set the country back? Let us know in the comments below. And remember, when it comes to leadership, words mean nothing without the right actions. Make sure to like and subscribe for more videos.